Hi, I'm Dr. Liz, naturopathic wellness coach. I am here to give you a part two on domestic violence, a survivor story. See, after I did that segment this week, I received many phone calls asking me, was that my story? Yes, that was part of my story. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, on that segment of domestic violence, a survivor story, and I'm going to label it part one because this will be part two, I talked about the sheer terror of looking down the barrel of a sawed-off shotgun and looking over the shoulder of the man holding the gun to a mirror that actually showed or reflected a woman that I did not even recognize. Old, tattered, tired, and abused. I wanted to come back today because I wanted to be clear that yes, that was my story. It was only a part of my story because now I get to share with you the success part of my story because I was one of the survivors. I am one of the survivors. And see, when I was going through the domestic violence situation, John Walsh of America's Most Wanted, he did a segment on domestic violence, and he said that he gave us 10 signs to look for. And 8 of those signs I was living through every day. So I want to come to you today, and not only do I want to tell you the signs, but I also want to give you a glimpse into a plan of action because I do realize it does not happen overnight. And the reason it doesn't happen overnight is because we generally have built our lives there with that person, or we've built it and they're a part of it. So slowly removing ourselves from it, especially when you have abusers that are either narcissistic personalities or just straight up abusers, is really a dangerous situation when you start to remove yourself. Not only when you remove yourself, but the times shortly after is also a very dangerous, deadly time. And one of the things that John Walsh shared with me in that segment, and I say with me because it really felt like that night that I was laying in the bed watching, it really felt like he was talking directly to me. So what I want to do is give you a plan of action. But see, this is the thing that's different is most people say, why did you stay so long? But they don't give you a realistic plan of action. And when you're actually living in it, you're fogged in the brain because one, it's surreal to you. You don't even realize that you're in it until the light bulb comes on and you're actually in it. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it'll probably make sense to those of you that are going through or have gone through domestic violence. Other people say, wait, that doesn't make sense. But see, what happens is the abuser slowly starts gradually changing your reality of things or your day to day. And when they do that, it's so gradual that you kind of miss it. You know, sometimes you can watch a movie. Like I watched this is ironic that this one would come to mind, but what's love got to do with it with Tina Turner in it? And I watched it the first time and I watched it the second time, and by the 10th time I watched that movie, I actually saw her running in the street going to the hotel. You guys will remember the scene where she was running and she had on white sneakers, but when she got to the hotel she had her white heels on again. Well, that's what sort of happens. You don't even realize that you are now in sneakers and not in heels anymore. You don't realize how your life has changed because you have, went along to get along. And you really don't, there's a shame that's associated with it. There is, like, this is my home. This is my husband or significant other, the one that's supposed to be there protecting me, not the one that's supposed to be battering, beating me, or belittling me, or, any of those things. And sometimes it's really hard for other people, to really understand it, and, I'll paint the picture. I was working in corporate America and I was a single divorced mom. And I really thought that this was my knight in shining armor because he presented well. He also was a master of disguise. So it was a masquerade ball until he got me. And then it slowly started to go in the opposite direction. And see, the other part of it is that we did a segment on codependency on yesterday. So there's a couple of things that I want to tie into it. In the codependency segment, we talked about, and we learned about low self-esteem. We learned about what the signs of codependency really is. And so I'm going to share a little bit of that with you because I want to get into some real, just some realistic, a realistic plan of action, because nobody went over this with me. Even with John Walsh, when I watched that segment, he gave me the signs to watch for. Okay, so now I understand that, okay, I need to get out of here. But where is the plan of action? So let's start with that. Let's start with the plan of action first, okay? So, and I got this information from Henry Ford Health Systems. It's called Domestic Abuse Alternative Escape Plan, and it's really a great plan. But see, with any plan, and I don't know why my nose is itching, but we're gonna keep going, pushing through this. Let me see. Always have a safety bag ready in a safe place in case you have to leave an abusive partner in a hurry. The best place to keep the safety bag is outside of the home. You can keep it in a safety deposit box at work or at a friend's or family member's house. This will prevent the abuser from finding it. In a safety bag should contain the following. So this is what you should have in your safety bag. And it's so weird that even all these years after, I still have a safety bag. And, you know, I have worked through the healing process, and I'm still growing and healing every single day. However, I still have a safety bag. And, you know, friends that know about it, you know, they would say, wow, you act like, you know, you're always escaping. But that's what it ended up being. And that's why it's so important, even when you come out of domestic violence, that you go into therapy with the right therapist, and that you work through those issues, because years later, it'll continue to surface. You know, the issues will still continue to surface within yourself, having issues with, because see, what happens is when you go through trauma stores in the cells. And so when trauma is there, it's like when you have a car accident. If a car now screeches behind you, you jump. It's because it's in the cells, and you never let it out. You never let it go. So you're still on edge. I want to say edge, or you're still on eggshells as you continue to, you know, move forward and progress in your life, and you make decisions based on that brokenness deep down inside of you. And it takes years and years, and sometimes you don't get it out until you actually identify. I'm still identifying some of the characteristics now, many years later, but I'm still identifying those characteristics. So let's just talk about that safety bag, okay? So in your safety bag, you would have as much cash as possible, a checkbook, ATM, and credit cards. Extra clothing for yourself, and if you have children, for your children. Extra set of keys to the car and to the house. A copy of documents. If a partner will notice that the originals are missing, then you want a copy of those documents. And the documents should include bank and financial information, insurance policies, birth certificates for yourself and children, list of important phone numbers, including local domestic violence shelters, social security numbers for yourself, abuser, and the children, any written log, journal, or pictures of the abusive history, because you do have to paint that history. Heaven forbid, if something happens and you have to defend yourself, and then you have to defend yourself in court, you want to make sure that, you know, there is some record. See, what happens is oftentimes we don't say anything because we're trying to figure it out for ourselves. And again, that shame is there. So there is no record of what's going on unless you take pictures. And, you know, you got to get smart, and you have to, this is smart to be safe. You know, take pictures and put those pictures out of the house, and start keeping things out of the house. I say you have to become a 007, and, you know, and fight for your safety, fight for your life, fight for your freedom, you know. The warning signs of domestic abuse. Domestic abuse may include any of the following, so watch for them. Physical violence include, and sometimes we don't think about this, you know, we just like, okay, this is not normal. These are the signs. And don't make excuses. No excuses for pushing, shoving, slapping, grabbing, biting, hitting, spanking, or kicking. Okay. Holding you down, twisting your arms, banging your head on the floor, choking, pinning against the wall, carrying against your will. I mean, picking you up and carrying you against your will. Forced sex, kneeing, hair pulling, punching. All of these are physical signs of domestic violence, things to watch for. Burning, turning or trying to run you over with a car. Throwing objects, punching walls or doors, breaking windshields. Those things are all intimidation tactics to keep you in fear. It's called control and contain. It is breaking or tearing clothes and personal objects. Driving recklessly to scare you. We're going to stop right there because there was a New Year's Eve church event, and I promise you, he drove, had to be 100 miles an hour down the freeway, and arguing and screaming and threatening to my life. So that puts terror in you. When you come out of it, it puts terror into your cells of your body. Okay, so when I tell you that I know what this feels like, I know what it feels like. But I tell you what, there is a plan out. There is a plan of action that I'm going to give you today. Blocking exits or car, taking keys, taking money or bank cards to prevent partners from leaving, unplugging the phone, restricting access to the phone, or taking your cell phone, or checking your cell phone, or putting tracking devices on your cell phone. I heard that's something that they're doing nowadays as well. Verbal and emotional abuse, threats of violence, divorce, suicide, reporting you to the police, making you do illegal things, intimidation, including trying to scare you using looks, actions, or gestures, stalking you, accusing you of cheating. That's always a big one because they're projecting their misbehavior onto you and having you to explain how it's not you or try to convince them that it's not you. They already know that it's not you, but it's a tactic. It's a fear tactic. Destroying property, especially prized belongings, isolation, including controlling your activities and belongings. Example, access to your phone, questioning your activities, preventing you from seeing friends and family. Again, what is it called? Control and contain. Let's continue. Questioning all of your activities, preventing you from seeing friends and family, intense jealousy, controlling behavior. Control and contain is the name of the game. Threatening or using the children. Example, making you feel guilty about the children, threatening to take the children. Cruelty to animals or to children. Economic abuse, including preventing you from walking or going to school or work or controlling your money. Again, like I said the other day, if someone else has control over your money, they have control over your activities, they have total control over you, there is something there. Something you need to look into. Okay. Threatening you like us, or sorry, not threatening, but that's part of it, threatening anything about you, but treating you like a servant, making all the decisions and defining your roles. Emotional abuse, examples, putting you down, name calling, mind games, and blaming. All of those are physical violence or verbal or emotional abuse. And all of those things, again, came from the courtesy of Henry Ford Health Systems. And the list actually goes on and on and on and on. The other thing, too, I want you to start looking into is there are signs of codependency. And some of the things that you may want to look into as to why, I had to re-examine myself and find out why I kept attracting the same type of person into my life, whether it was a romantic partner or whether it was a business partner. What was it about me that attracted that type of person? Because, I've shared it, and this year was the first year that last year when I started the podcast was the first time that I could really actually talk about all of these things without feeling ashamed, without feeling, I didn't want anger. I didn't want resentment. I didn't want bitterness. I continued to pray to ask God not to harden my heart, not to put bitterness in my heart, because that type of life is the life that will, this is what you will be living. And why inflict more pain on yourself when you're working on resetting your life and starting over again? Okay, so some of the signs that you are codependent, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it's not a might. This is that you are codependent. If you're always seeking to please people, lack of boundaries, poor self-esteem, caretaking, poor communication, lack of self-image, dependency, and relationship stress. Those are just to name a few of codependent behaviors and identify them. Okay, now that we know what the challenge or what the problem is, okay, now that you've identified domestic violence is the situation that you're living in, all right, so how do we get out of that? See, when I was trying to come up with a plan, my plans kept failing because it was about finances. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't have assets that I could roll back and roll into. I didn't have much of a savings, and my checking was paying for bills, paycheck to paycheck, and unfortunately, that is the reality for quite a few people. And, as people say, or they're not in your shoes. So don't let people shame you. Don't let them shame you into why. I mean, it doesn't matter what your economical status is. It doesn't matter, what your level of education is. Domestic violence happens from, any income bracket. So it's not about the income. It's about the individual, and it's about you. And understand that it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay. I hope you're watching this podcast in a safe place. I hope someone sees this podcast and says, my friend needs help. A lot of times people around you don't know how to help you because guess what? You're constantly denying that it's happening. But see, my light is bright. My light kept going out. It kept getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer as I kept being more ashamed and kept getting more battered, kept having to use more makeup to cover the scars, had to use more makeup to cover, what happened to you, what happened to your wrist, what happened to your eye, I didn't want to have to discuss any of those things. So I kept shrinking in and shrinking in. Of course, people saw that, but they didn't know what to do. So I'm telling you, if you know somebody that is going through domestic violence, slip them this information and have them watch this podcast, because let me show you something. This black card, this is a lifesaver. And let me tell you how. See, Fortress is a network, a e-commerce network. That means that the network is not like you have to physically go somewhere. It is e-commerce, your computer, your phone. Whenever you're away from the house, you can become a Fortress member. It's $10 and $10 a month. But once you refer 3 people to the network, and those 3 people refer 3 people to the network, now your membership is paid out of profit and not out of pocket. And what do? You refer people to a network that is a shopping club. So everybody shops. Everybody buys. I mean, we have from, uniforms to dollar store items. We have, Pure Herbs is one of the products on there that I love and I use every day. We have books on there. We have a back office on there that will teach you a skill. See, I'm not saying that this is an instant way out. In some instances, you have to get out right away. But even if you have to get out and you have to start from the bottom like I did. I started over with $5.35 in my pocket. No savings, no assets, no money in the bank, nothing. Because as I expressed before, he tore everything up. I'm not embellishing when I say when we walked into my house, I had nothing left. I had nothing left. He even smashed the fish tank, okay? So when I say nothing, I mean nothing, okay? So I had to literally start over with what I had in my purse and my daughter in tow and the clothes we had on our back. That's how we started over. So I'm telling you, I get it. When I say I wish I had a fortress, I'm telling you, you have a fortress. You have a hand up. Just get in contact with us and we will show you how to build yourself a fortress, and that's a protection around you. Not only do you get community support, one of the things that John Walsh has stressed in that video, in that American Most Wanted segment that I saw on domestic abuse, one of the things that he stressed was sometimes you have to be completely out of sight, out of mind. So just say, for instance, out of sight, out of mind means that you have to go to another city. And I know sometimes that's scary because going to another city, you don't know anybody, you're kind of in a brain fog and you have responsibilities. Okay, so what I am saying, a viable plan would be to build yourself a fortress. And every month when they load your card, keep your card in your safe bag. And then when you've built up enough income, and think about this, once you build it, you build it. And because you bring memberships over to the network, guess what? This is money that you get month after month after month after month. So you have a safety net for yourself. You have an escape plan. Say you have to do like I did. You have to just walk away and leave everything behind. You can start all over because guess what? You have money. You have money that you have built for yourself. So while you're going through it and you don't know what you're going to do, I'm letting you know, I wish someone had a fortress. Fortresses wasn't around when I was going through, but Fortress is here for you. Not only, let me explain a couple more things to you as well. So you become a Fortress member, walking you through the program, walking you through the steps. You'll have my contact information and I'll help you. I'll help walk you through. My team will help walk you through. Let me give you some other information. Let me finish this first, okay? I get excited because this is an opportunity to be able to help and to be able to serve. When you become a member of Fortress and you refer members over to the network, Fortress starts building up you monies that you receive every month. And if you have to access those monies within the middle of the month, you can do that as well. But Fortress built on each month, it builds. So what happens is when you refer people over to the network, Fortress gives back $9 of the $10 of the membership back to the community. So the $10 membership fee, $9 goes back to the community. And if you're a part of that community, guess what? You're getting money on a residual basis for referring people over to a network when they purchase a subscription, which is the $10 membership. Okay? And I'll be able to explain this even in more detail, when we talk. But I just want to give you a brief overview, a summary now. What happens, again, is you refer someone over to the network, just like you do for any other company, such as like a Costco's or a Sam's Club or a, where do we refer people? Planet Fitness to work out, or, one of the, LA Fitnesses, or refer people over to Netflix to watch a movie, or it's the same thing. You're referring people over to an amazing network where they can purchase everyday products that they would purchase. And then they purchase them when they become a member at a discount. If they purchase and they don't become a member, guess what? You get up to 25% commission. Wait a minute. That's a second way that you can make monies off of the network without your abuser knowing that you are building this empire for yourself. Okay? Then let's talk about a third way. Say you want to put a product or service on the site. You can do that with that same $10 membership, and Fortress will market that product for you. So that's a product or a service that you can start building additional monies for. Can you see how this is now a plan to dig you out of what's happening to you right now? It's a safety net. Fortress is a safe place. And that's why, again, we have a cause in Fortress, and our hashtag is Stop Poverty the Fortress Way. And I want to throw it out there. Stop domestic violence the Fortress Way. Because I've been in over 50 some odd industries, and I stopped counting at 59, trying to find a way. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go through all of the hard knocks and bruises that I went through. Because Okili Omari and his beautiful wife, Jessica, have come up with a network that will help you. It will be that fortress that they intended it to be. It would be that safe place. Not only, I gave you 3 ways, right? I gave you the first way, you refer people over to the network like you do every day for free for other families, okay? Refer people to the network, you get paid. Residual, okay? When you purchase a product or service you want to purchase, you can purchase it from your monies on your card that you have earned, or you can, and you still get them at a discount, up to a 25% discount. Let's see the other way. The other way is you can put products and services on and you get 100% of your proceeds. Let's see. That's 3 ways, right? All in the same fortress with all the same $10 membership. Let me see another way. Actually, say you want to learn Spanish because you say Mexico is where you want to land. Well, guess what? We have in our back office, and I'm pointing to the back like it's back there, but we have a back office that will teach you to speak another language. I know there's a Spanish course that just came aboard. Let's see. Wow. All that for a $10 membership. I mean, there's so many benefits. I didn't even talk about the intangible benefits, such as the women in Fortress, or the ladies in Fortress, that will help to love on you and help you to regain your confidence, your self-esteem, that, will not pass judgment on you because of what you've gone through, but actually be that sister. We form such a sisterhood over here in Fortress. And the men here are absolutely incredible and amazing. They're phenomenal. They will protect you. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I landed in a place that I call home, and it is actually home for me. So I'm just having this conversation with you this afternoon because I did put out the first domestic violence, and there was some confusion as to, wait, was that really your story? And I'm telling you, yes, that was truly my story. And it gets deeper, and it just gets worse. But the surface of it is that it was brutal domestic violence. Yes, I am a survivor. I survived with my life. I survived with my daughter's life. Were we scraped up and bruised and battered? Yes. But guess what? Because we believe in God and because we leaned into Him, He provided a way out. And He's also provided a way out for you. And again, it's Fortress. It's tried, tested, and true. The company is of integrity. I gave you, I believe, what else? 3 ways of creating residual income for yourself. I'm going to go over the numbers. I normally don't do it on film. I usually put it down in the description box. I'm going to put it there too, but I just want to let you know. When you come in, and you can do this, just depending on how aggressive you are with it, but you can come in and you can refer 3 people over to the network. Once you refer 3 people over on the network, you go on payroll, okay? You will generate $3. You may say, wow, $3, that's not much. But hey, back in the day when I was walking away with $5.35 in my pocket, $3 was a million to me, okay? And this is just real talk. Then you go to level 2. That means that you've referred 9 people to the network, and now you're at $12. But that's $3 plus $12. Okay, so each level, or each time you bring people into the network, you continue to grow, you continue to increase. Okay, so your monthly residual income, okay, with 27 people is $39. With 81 people is $120. But see, these levels, they're compounding. So I'm just giving you just that first line. So you're going to add 120, 39, 12, and 3, because you still get that as well. Okay. And then it goes from there. We go down to, and the full matrix is a 3x9 matrix. That means you have 3 people that you refer, and then they refer people to the network. But that means that the subscriptions that you, or memberships that you brought in, you still continue to get paid for that as well, which I think is phenomenal. So you can go to $29,523. And I mean, it's possible to do it in 9 weeks if you were, this is what you put your mind to and you decided, yes, this is my way out. I mean, honestly, at $363 a month or $1,092 a month, $323,279 a month, $9,840 a month. And then when you get to $29,523 a month, guess what? Fortress says, thank you for helping build the platform. Thank you for referring members over. For memberships, we're going to give you a $10 residual monthly bonus. Wow. Wow. I just heard myself say that out loud. And this is earn passive residual income monthly. But man, that's almost $500,000 a year. Think about how many lives, and think about how different your life would be when you're able to set you up a fortress. You're able to set you up a fortress. Okay. So I just wanted to come to you today and just, spell it out a little bit more clear, and just let you know that there is a way out. There is a hand up. There is a fortress out there. And I'm coming for you guys. I'm going to be coming out to the domestic violence shelters as soon as we can, get some some relief from this COVID. But until then, I'll be bringing you information via the podcast. So please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, get in contact with us. All of the contact information will be in the description box. And my sisters, just know that you are not alone. and that there is someone out here that is praying for you, rooting for you, and in your corner. You do not have to suffer in silence any longer. Bye for now.